Hey everyone, welcome to this weekend / new moon Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 28th through the 30th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so a new moon this weekend on Sunday. It's going to be right on the cusp between Virgo and Libra. All right, so more energy here with the Virgo. I think we've learned a lot about this, I think, these past roughly month and a half. There's been a lot of this detail-oriented type of energy available. And so it's made this a very good time to improve things. Improve our life on one hand, improve ourselves, which I feel like is the greatest expression of Virgo. You know, the self-refinement, the self-growth, the self-improvement, and focusing on what we do have control over, which again is fundamentally ourselves and everything in our immediate environment. So improving our environment as well, improving our lives. So I think this new moon is still going to be very much about that, especially because it is going to be conjoining Mercury, who does rule Virgo. But there's a lot of energy shifting. Okay, it's going to be shifting into Libra. We've got Mercury shifting into Libra right during the new moon practically, and then the sun soon after, very early next week. So this is about balance. You know, Libra is about bringing balance to our life. And it can be personal balance, such as seeing which different areas of life might need some balance, where we can bring things back into harmony. And if it does have to do with relationships, maybe the cooperative energy, where we can focus on others' needs. You know, a bit of that giving nature, but really doing the right thing, the just thing, and making sure that there is a bit of that mutuality and everything's on that even keel. So it does make it a great time for relationships, for cooperation, and anything else that does require that cooperative type of mutual energy. All right, so I think there's certainly a shift with that. I think there's a lot to learn. I think with Mercury shifting into Libra in particular, how we can maybe share ideas with others, learn from others, right? Mercury's all about the synergy. Mercury's also the marketplace. Maybe it's about trading and exchanging with others, whether it's ideas or whatever it might be, all right? But I think really emphasizing the communicative side to those relationships. Right. So this is going to be the strongest energy of the new moon, is the fact that it's in these two constellations conjoining Mercury, very powerful. It's actually in a very good part of the sky. It's going to be trining up to Neptune and sextiling up to Pluto. All right, so with the trine up to Neptune, easy going. I think there's a bit of flow. I think collectively we're all willing in some degree with this new moon to detach, to surrender, and see where things take us, which can make it quite easygoing, can make things flow, and there is just generally that kind of support with this. And I think the more we do detach from outcome, you know, the things in the future, we're living in that present moment, which can be very easy during a time like this, it can be very supportive. Now, the sextile to Pluto is that maybe there's some changes. Maybe it's a good new moon to change things, and maybe a lot of it has to do with those belief systems. You know, Pluto has been in Sagittarius, helping us strip away those unhealthy, limiting belief systems, especially with Mars recently in here as well. So this is a great time to change. I think changing perspective is fantastic, especially because Mercury's involved. You know, it's all about the practical mind, changing the perspective, and that sextile to Pluto is just a sort of opening for that in Sagittarius. All right, so that's the new moon. Like I said, it is going to be on Sunday. So as we approach that, we will still be in the balsamic phase, which is the ending of the last lunar cycle, making this a great weekend to clear things out, to let some things go, whatever that might be, and to reflect, listen, be a bit flexible and adaptive, and again, maybe set some new intentions in terms of where we can have a bit of that self-improvement, organize things, improve our life, so to speak. And with the shift into Libra, bring balance to our life. Maybe with relationships, maybe with the sharing of ideas and learning, really getting into the intellectual and exchanging elements of ourselves, either with relationships or just in general. All right, so that's the new moon, but let's go and look at these aspects, because we do have two very important aspects taking place this weekend. We do have Mars squaring up to Uranus, which will be both Friday and Saturday, as well as Venus conjoining up to Saturn before the new moon as well. So this Mars square up to Uranus, this can be perhaps a bit of the impulsiveness, maybe a bit frustrated, maybe feeling a bit blocked for some reason or another. You know, Mars is all about those personal needs of ours, you know, things we want, and our desires. And in a square, it can feel sometimes blocked, or maybe with a square up to Uranus, a bit impulsive, like we're wanting to break free, break through, do some sudden things. And so, as I always say with a square from Mars, it's always good to bring that extra attention to the self, right? To the ego, to our personal needs, and that part of ourself that does have needs, but with the awareness, it can help balance that out, so it's not taken to an extreme. And being aware of any feeling of doing sudden things, acting on sudden things. And there is something to listen to, I do want to mention, with this Uranus, something about freedom, something about making some change. And so definitely listen to that, but see how you can implement this freedom, implement this change in a nice, slow, healthy, and balanced way. And I think as a result, it can be, like I said, an excellent weekend for change. Here, maybe freedom to liberate ourselves and take some action to do that. If you're feeling the under extreme of this Mars, maybe you're not feeling motivated, maybe there's a lowering of energy, maybe there's something uncomfortable that you can do to implement that freedom. Sometimes with the square, it can be an under extreme of Mars, and sometimes we have to will ourselves to take some sort of action that we know we need to take for that higher self, for that freedom, and maybe it's on that level for you personally. All right, so that's that aspect. Venus is going to be conjoining up to Saturn here going into Sunday. This is suggesting a sort of other new beginning, because all conjunctions are like new moons. The sun, moon conjunction is the new moon. Venus conjoining Saturn is new beginnings with our values and our relationships. And particularly with Saturn, where we can enjoy these things we value in life, materially, and also the relationships we enjoy in life, in a balanced, let's say, disciplined way. Saturn is all about discipline. Saturn's all about the long-term pleasures versus the short-term pleasures, short-term enjoyments, right? This is about seeing the big picture and discipline in the sense of healthy self-limitation, And Saturn is very much associated with Libra. It's exalted in Libra in the sense that Saturn's all about balance and harmony and cooperation and doing the right thing, the grounded thing, the mature thing. All right, so there's a new chapter with this. This is a sort of solar new beginning, in terms of a year, because Venus transits the whole zodiac in a year. So a new beginning with where we can bring in a bit of this maturity with our values, with finances, with the enjoyments of life. Again, the long-term enjoyments, and then also with relationships. Maybe a bit of maturity with that as well. All right, groundedness, patience, discipline. All right, so that's the weekend in a nutshell. These two aspects will be strongest Friday and Saturday. Bit of patience, extra awareness there on the self, on the ego, on what we want, and listening to that freedom at the same time. Some new beginnings with our values in terms of how we can enjoy them in a responsible, grounded sort of way with the big picture. I think it's a great weekend for healthy self-limitation there with the enjoyments of life. And the new moon, the most significant thing on Sunday, 13:38 Eastern time. A bit of flow with the trines from Neptune, a bit of easygoingness perhaps, maybe a willingness to change with the sextiles up to Pluto. And I think just all in all, seeing where we can plant some new seeds with a bit of learning, a bit of open-mindedness, maybe taking care of things, improving ourselves, improving our life, as well as those relationships. Maybe a bit of cooperation and harmony, or maybe just bringing more balance into our life in general. All right, so I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I'll see you all on Monday.